Hello guys, I'm just thinking about the what we talking about in the lecture yesterday to have just some clarification for some concept we talked about yesterday. This is our lecture and the integer division that we talked about. If we have two variable as integer and we do some division, even if the result should be with a fraction number, but there's an integer division happen and it's rounding to the integer because both values are integer, which is a problem you would like to avoid. And we talked yesterday about how can we avoid it in two different ways. The first way is using something called implicit conversion, which is a compiler automatically perform the conversion if you tell it that one of them is not integer. So you have to change only one variables here, or you have to do it yourself as a programmer using the typecast. Let's quickly go to an example here to just see what's the problem and how can we deal with that problem. If we go to our Eclipse and just we will like to just declare, let's say integer equal to, and as an example, an integer y equal 4 and integer z and z equal x divided by y, which are both integer, then we just output the z dot print z. So if we run this programmer here, you will have the value as 2, which you are knowing that 10 divided by 4 is 2 point something. But the problem is when you divide two integers together, the fraction part will be ignored. It's called integer division. So even if you decided to just change the output to be double, that will not make any change. The only change it will add like 0.0 here. So if you run, it will add 2.0 here, which is a problem. We are talking yesterday how could we solve this problem. The first thing we said there's something called implicit conversion, in which if you only change the type of only one variable of the input, the compiler will rely that and make the conversion itself. So let's say we convert this one to double. If you convert y to double, now the division part will be applied. Automatically x will be converted to double, and the result will be, as you see, 2.5, which is okay. So this is the first thing. So this was the first option. If you do something called the implicit conversion, compiler do that if you change only one variable. Second option is to use something called typecasting, which is a programmer should do it himself, should code that, should program that. And how can you do that? You just make something called casting here. You add double or whatever version you need, but take care not to do that, not to make the parentheses for all the equation. The problem of this structure here that this calculation will happen using integer values. So 10 will divided by 4 as both integers, and the result will be 2, and the fraction part again will be ignored. The casting here, the double here, you did it for the whole after calculation, which will not add anything to our problem. So if we run that, we will get it like 2 only. So how can I do the casting to be really do solve the problem? In order to do that, cast each variable, or at least one of them. So if you only did that, so you changed this x before making the division, which means you are not casting for 100%, but you convert this one to double, and the compiler will do the implicit because he has only one as a double. If you run that, you will have 2.5. If you would like to do it whole yourself and don't let the compiler to do anything, you do like this. So you change the type of every single parameters yourself. If you run that, you will solve the problem. Okay, let's go with the this one like we have here as an example we talked about yesterday. Let's try to do this one to just figure out the problem and have more understanding of that. So I just pressing this equation over there, I have x on y and L, so x here is capital, which is not capital here. Let's do it small, and y and z here capital. It's error because it's small, as you know, is not the same like capital, and this is L, and it's x equal 5, y 5, L 3. So I got here initialization is 5, here is 5, here at 3. This is z, and for sure this double should be between parentheses. If I have this structure and semicolon missing here, if it has a structure, what will be the result? For sure the division will be integer because I'm not converting anything, and the double casting type conversion will happen for after the whole calculation, which will not have any like so this is you can find it 3, and it should be what? It should be 5 plus 5 is 10 divided by 3 is 3 point something. It's ignored because we did not make the correct conversion. How can we do the correct conversion? First one, we can rely on the compiler to do that as implicitly. If just I took this one from here and I put it here, so I convert the L only. I don't need this parenthesis here. So I convert this L only. See, if I run that, I will have 3.33 something. And if I decided to convert only this part again, I should have the same equation here, the same result if I change the type of only one of them. And here as an example, I think if you can see, it changed the casting this L, and this one is enough. But the programmer decided to do the casting himself. I'm not relying on the compiler anymore. So you would like to, but this is to understand. But you have, guys, to make sure that when you declare your variable, you should select the best or the appropriate type based on the calculation you have. If you're expecting to have square root, if you're expecting to have like division, you should do it as double from the beginning or float. Okay, then we proceed into the math methods that we explained yesterday, and this we taught the square root and the power and the absolute, and these were the missing error at the end. The output of this function, or at least this function, should be double, which I missed yesterday. If you remember the video, you will see that. So the distance here, for example, should be declared as double, because this function only returns double. Okay, so thank you very much and good luck. Okay, so we would like to do this equation here. As we said, from this equation, we have how many inputs here? 4 inputs. It's x2, x1, y2, and y1. And we decide to declare these inputs as all float, right? This is the first thing, to declare the inputs as float. Then we get the input from the user. Then we do this calculation process. Then we output the result to the user. So let's go. I will, at the beginning, let's declare together the variable. So I say float x1, okay? Float x2, float. Please follow with me if I did something wrong. Just let me know. Float y2, okay? So this is the first part. I will just make a comment like this to be easy for me to read, as I prefer to do that like to separating here. For example, this is, I will say, the declaration part, for me to come back and see where is this part. And here I will start, for example, the input part. And at the input part, I should ask user to enter these 4 inputs, right? So at the beginning, I will ask user politely like this: system.out.print, please enter x1. That's right. So this is x1. Now I should receive x1 as an input. So here x1 equal, where's the scanner? I had ESC dot next what? Next integer or next float? Next float, because I declared as float. Something wrong here. Next float. You will find it appear here. And this is my semicolon. So this now, I asked the user to enter x1, and I received x1 and put it in its value. And I prefer to do it print ln, this in order to have some new line. And I will just copy and paste this one 4 times, right? And just will change this one to, for example, x2. And here this one changed to y1. And this is y2. And I should change this one as well to enter x2. Then here enter y1. Here enter y2. And I have an error here. So now this is the input part is ended. I will make a comment here again and say this is the processing part. But there's something I forget to declare. The output. We forget to declare the output. The output is what? Is a distance. If you find here the distance equal that. So I should have a variable which is distance. It's float for sure. Distance. And here now I can say distance equal what? Now I would like to construct the equation, which is very important to take care about the parentheses. Open and close. So math dot sqrt, and whatever between these parentheses should be my equation. What's the first part is? x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1? x2 minus x1 power to 2. How can I do this one? It is math dot pow, and here x2 minus x1, and I showed this one between parentheses to be not to be to know this one will calculate it together here, and this is what? This is 2. So this is the first part of pow, and it's plus or minus. Here's plus. So I take it as plus. Math again dot pow y2 minus y1 and to the power of 2. And I will close this one here and take a look now about the parentheses. How many is open and closed? Because for sure you will have a problem here. So for example, I have this one here. Let's start from here. This one here, and this is one that closed. The pow here open and closed. This one here open and I didn't close here. And this one for the pow and close. And this one should be okay now. Or not? We will see. And then I will print out system.out.print the distance is, and I will for sure, for example, make a new line here, plus distance. Okay? So now, it seems there's a problem here at the equation. So math is QRT. How many? Yeah, take a look. There's a problem here. So minus x1. Now, oh, so this one is closed here. Why this one is not closed here? Okay, let's run our program and see.
Oh yeah, the math
What's
not square roots don't like using.
Sorry?
The math not square roots and the math not powers don't like using floats.
Should be double.
Yeah.
That's okay. So now, what is the example is here? Tell me to enter 1 and 2 and 1 and 5. So x1 is 1, x2 is 2, 2, 1, and 5. So something like this. 1 and 2, 1 and 5. 1 and x1, x1 both are 2, are 1. So again, 1 and 1. 5 and 2, so the result is 3. So